room above stairs. When Daniel Harper moved into the old house on Willow Lane, he believed he had found the perfect escape. The rent was cheap, the neighborhood was quiet, and most importantly, nobody asked questions. Daniel was 32, recently divorced, and desperate for silence. He worked remotely editing audio files for podcasts, which meant he could live anywhere with electricity and internet. He wanted distance from the city, distance from memories, distance from people. The house stood at the end of a narrow road lined with dead trees. It had 2 floors, faded white paint, cracked windows, and a porch that groaned even when nobody stepped on it. The landlord, a thin man named Mr. Crane, handed Daniel the keys and avoided eye contact. "There's one thing," he said. Daniel sighed. "What?" "The room above the stairs stays locked." "Why?" "It has old damage." "Water damage?" Mr. Crane hesitated. "Something like that." Daniel almost laughed. "Fine." He didn't care about one locked room. He cared about peace. That feeling lasted exactly 3 nights. On the first night, Daniel heard footsteps overhead. Slow, measured, as if someone was pacing from one wall to the other. He checked the house. No attic entrance. No second-floor hallway beyond the locked room. No open windows. Nothing. The sound stopped when he stood beneath the ceiling. On the second night, he heard whispering. Not words. Just 2 voices murmuring above him like a conversation underwater. He recorded it on his phone. In the morning, the file contained only static. On the third night, someone knocked on his bedroom door at 3:14 a.m. 3 slow knocks. Daniel opened it immediately. The hallway was empty. He searched the house holding a kitchen knife. Every door was locked, every window sealed. But at the top of the staircase, the locked room door was slightly open. Only an inch. Daniel stared at it for a long time. Then he pushed it shut and went back downstairs. The next morning, he called Mr. Crane. "You said that room was locked." "It was. It opened." Silence. Then Mr. Crane said, "Do not go inside." Daniel laughed angrily. "Are you joking?" "No." Then the line disconnected. That day, Daniel bought a new lock and installed it himself. Heavy steel, fresh screws. At midnight, the footsteps returned. At 1 a.m., whispering. At 2 a.m., something dragged across the floor overhead. At 3:14 a.m., 3 knocks, this time louder. Daniel ran upstairs. The new lock hung broken from the door. The wood around it had splintered outward, as if something inside had forced its way out. But the door was still closed. His hand shook. He pushed it open. The room was empty. Dust covered everything. A small iron bed stood in the corner. A wooden chair faced the wall. Peeling wallpaper hung in strips, and in the center of the room, scratched deeply into the floorboards, were the words, "Let her finish talking." Daniel backed away. Then the chair moved, just 1 inch. He slammed the door and stumbled downstairs. That night, he slept in his car. The next morning, he searched the house history online. The property had changed owners 6 times in 11 years. Every tenant left early. One disappeared. Another died in a highway crash after claiming she followed me. In 1998, the house belonged to a woman named Eleanor Vale and her daughter, Lucy. Lucy was 9 years old. One winter night, neighbors reported hearing screams. Police found Eleanor dead at the bottom of the stairs with a broken neck. Lucy was never found. No signs of forced entry. No footprints in the snow. The upstairs room had been locked from the inside. Daniel read every article twice. Then he packed his bags. But when he tried to leave, his car battery was dead. He called roadside service. No signal. The house internet worked. His phone data didn't. Rain began falling hard enough to erase the road. He told himself he would stay one final night. Just one. At 10 p.m., all the lights went out. Power failure. The entire neighborhood beyond the trees remained lit. Only his house was dark. Daniel found candles. At 11 p.m., whispering started inside the walls. At midnight, footsteps crossed the ceiling. At 1 a.m., a child laughed upstairs. At 2 a.m., someone whispered clearly through the vent above him. "Please open it." Daniel froze. The voice was young. A girl. At 2:30 a.m., the bedroom door slowly opened by itself. No wind, no sound, just movement. The hallway beyond was black. At 3:14 a.m., 3 knocks. but not on his door, from inside the walls. Daniel broke. He grabbed a flashlight and ran upstairs. The locked room door stood wide open. Inside, the chair now faced the doorway. On the chair sat a small ribbon. Blue. Old. Wet. He aimed the flashlight around the room. Nothing. Then the beam reached the wall behind the chair. There was another door hidden beneath wallpaper, small, child-sized. His stomach turned. He ripped the paper away. Tiny fingerprints marked the wood. From the other side came scratching, then a soft voice. "Mom?" Daniel stepped back. The hidden door slowly opened inward. A narrow crawl space stretched into darkness. At the far end stood a girl in a white nightgown. Long, wet hair, bare feet, head lowered. "Lucy," Daniel whispered. The girl lifted her face. Her eyes were missing. Only dark hollows remained. Her mouth opened too wide. "Did she send you?" The flashlight died. Daniel screamed and ran. Behind him, tiny feet pounded through the crawl space. He flew down the stairs, slipped, crashed into the wall, and crawled toward the front door. It wouldn't open. The knob spun uselessly. Behind him came the sound of dragging. Then a woman's voice from the staircase. "Lucy." Daniel turned slowly. A tall woman stood there in shadow. Neck bent at an impossible angle. Hands folded politely. Eleanor. The child stood beside her, eyes still empty. The mother smiled. "We don't like when guests interrupt." The child rushed forward. Daniel blacked out. He woke at sunrise on the front lawn. Rain-soaked. Alone. His bags were stacked neatly beside him. The house door stood open. Inside, everything looked normal. No hidden door, no scratched message, no chair, no ribbon. His phone battery was full again. There was one new audio file recorded at 3:14 a.m. He played it. At first, static. Then a man's terrified voice, his own. Then a child whispering close to the microphone. "He can stay in the room above the stairs." Daniel left without locking the door. 3 weeks later, Mr. Crane listed the property again. Cheap rent, quiet neighborhood, no questions asked.